Good afternoon. Hand today is 10-8 of spades. So this is a full ring game, but we are only six-handed. And cut off a big stack who hasn't been playing overly tight. Open raises to three big blinds. He's playing 24-20. Raise first in's a whopping 43%. Definitely playing looser in when he's in position. So I think we're going to look at something pretty wide, but not overly wide. I think we're going to go maybe something like this. Maybe not all these suited kings. And that's 32%. That's pretty wide. I think that'll be okay. And now it's on us. We're on the button. It's versus the cutoff. We could easily 3-bet. We could call here. We could increase our ranges. His fold to 3-bet's 38, so he does fold with some frequency, but we don't know. Fold to 3. Let's look at our fold to 3-bet stat. 0 out of 1. So it seems like he's more likely to fold if he's early position, right, or mid position. So maybe if he's going to be out of position, which means I could probably open up my range to raise. I didn't. I just called here and both blinds folded, so we take a flop. So this is my range. It's 9.35%, 124 combos. Their range much wider. They do have some range advantage because I shouldn't have aces, kings, ace, king hands in my range. I should probably 3-bet those. And I don't play with these players enough to justify like mixing up the play. I don't think there's enough reason to mix up my play to call with those. I think it's better just to go ahead and 3-bet. So we see a flop. Queen 4-2 with two spades. And you can see that my equity is at 54.5%. His equity is 45.5%, all because he has such a wide range. Now on this board, you figure this board isn't likely to hit me much unless I have a flush draw. So he's going to c-bet. His c-bet out of position is 50%, c-bet in position 71%. I do think he's going to be c-betting much more frequently. So probably any pair he's going to be doing this, any draw, probably overcards. He's going to be betting these as well. All of the flush draws, maybe the 2-card backdoor flush draws. We can go ahead and say all of the aces. He could be doing this with because if he has an ace, that means then it's less likely that I have an ace. I think kings, maybe I have those as part of my overcards. I actually don't know. So maybe king jack reduces the chance that I have king queen. Maybe the jack 10 eliminates like queen jack. I think I'm going to leave it right there. So I've got a pretty wide range here. 81.9% is what he's going to c-bet. Now it's on me. What do I do? I think we can call. I think we can raise. I think this is a pretty good board to attempt to raise. And I think we can raise with our premium hands. So set. I mean, if we raise with 2s or 4s, I think he's going to call if he has aces or kings. He's going to call if he has ace queen and so forth. And we'll get value from that. I think we're going to get called with spade draws. You know, a hand like ace 3, ace 5, he's going to be calling those as well. At least one time, I would think. Pocket pair below the top card. I think we can use those, raise those as kind of like a bluff. I think we can raise our flush draws and try to take it down. Get him to fold a lot of hands so that we don't have to actually make our draw. So we do have to consider a call. Could we ever call? Yeah, I think we can call with maybe a 2 card backdoor flush draw, and that kind of makes me think that maybe the top pair then we're going to be checking. Um, so checking, with king, queen, queen, jack, queen 10, because, we're letting him bluff maybe on a scare card. Maybe if it comes down with a jack, maybe he bets again with ace, king. Um, I think we're looking for value, and even if I had king queen or queen jack and he checks, I'd probably check behind and hope that he leads into us on the turn. If I had a one pair hand, so I think we can check with top pair. I think our bets are going to be like pocket pair below the top card, pocket pair, say with that second card. Um, Definitely, we're going to have more kind of bluffs relative to values, but even then, pocket pair is still a pocket pair. He has to hit his hand. I think ace king's going to call, and then on a lower hand, I think he's probably just going to go ahead and check fold. Unfortunately, I don't have a whole lot of um, premium hands that are going to allow me to make this play. So it almost seems like if I raise here, then perhaps he can call because he can realize that I'm going to be very heavy on our draws. Um, so I did raise, and I raised to not quite 3 times, not quite pot, uh, which I think from his perspective, he has to ask, what am I doing this with? Do I theoretically have, uh, a monster hand, and I think I would ask, geez, why would I bet so big? So maybe betting 3 times, maybe closer to, let's say, 11 or 12 big blinds might be a little bit better. I made the bet and he calls. So I'm going to say this is what I bet. Let's go forward because I'm kind of thinking that that's the range I should be betting with, but I'm kind of disagreeing with myself right now and saying this just I don't I don't have enough strong hands to balance. So if it doesn't come a spade, I kind of open up myself to be check raised if I fire again, and I'm gonna have to fold a lot of the time. What is their range? So they checked, and now I bet, or they bet, and I raised. Uh, I kind of think a set's probably just gonna shove, um, at least some percentage of time. 2 pairs definitely gonna call. Over pairs gonna call. Top pair. We'll leave sets in there. If you got queens, it's gonna be hard for me to have queens, and I think you can get it in if I have trips at a later street. So I think he'll just call, call, call. Pocket pair below the top card. He's probably going to call once. Middle pair is probably just going to fold. Pocket pair below the second card is going to fold. Bottom pair is going to fold. These hands, these aces, might call and then check fold on the turn. So we're going to leave them in. We're going to leave our draws and all that stuff. So I've got 73.6%. So he folded maybe 15% of his range. So we've got 73.6. He has 293 combos. He still has a lot of combos because I left a lot of those aces out there. Turn is Jack Spades, and I think that is a great card for me. Villain checks. I think he's checking his entire range. So let's see here what our equities are. So my range equity is 54.9. Let's just do 55, and his is 45 then. And he checks to me, which I expected. Now it's on me. And on this board, I hit my flush. I do think I should probably go ahead and bet. I think straights are gonna, or trips are gonna call, as I said, like trip queens. It's gonna call. Aces and kings probably would call. Ace 10 might call. Definitely the flush is gonna call. I'm gonna say sets 2 pair. Over pair is gonna call. Top pair, let's say 50% chance that he's probably just gonna go ahead and fold. Let's see if we can get that there. There. That applies it. Middle pair is all going to fold. Nut flush draw, I think, is going to call. Second nut might call with the king. Third nut, I think, folds. Straights are going to fold. Maybe the gut shots. Gut shots good still, if he doesn't believe that I have it. So 57.2%, I think, is what he would call if I bet. And I think when we look at what hands do I bet, I should be betting the flush. I should be betting the set again, probably. Because with the set, I think the flush draw is like that. Ace of spades is going to call. King of spades probably would call as well. So there's value there to be made. Pocket pair below the second card, I do think I'm betting here as a bluff. I'm trying to represent the flush. And the weak pairs, I think, since they're in my range, I should be betting them to try to represent that I do have the flush. And so at that point, I basically am continuing with 100% of my range here, which I think I kind of set that up as the raise to represent that, and I didn't. And I think, if I was raising on the flop with too many hands, now I just kind of checked behind. And I don't have any hands in my check behind range here. If I did, it would be something like this, where I'm checking everything. So, I mean, that is my range. It has to be, because that turn card was just so good for me. Now, it could be a situation where I have to worry that since he called, he may have had the flush, and maybe he has ace flush or king. Ace X, King X of spades. But, I kind of set up that raise on the flop to say on a scare card, I can fire a second barrel and might be able to pick it up. So he still has 277. I have 48 combos. Rivers is 6 of diamonds. Pot's 36.84. How does that affect our range? My range's equity is 60%. His is 40%. So I'm still ahead. And now he bets 24.56, which is 2/3 of the pot. What is he going to bet that with? Well, with that 6 of diamonds, I think he's going to be betting the flush. And probably only the flush. Maybe the set to try to get some value. Thinking that maybe I had a queen. And I might become suspicious, but really, if you think about it, why would a set bet? I think a set would just check, wait for me to bet, and then call down because he has a set. Could he have a draw, as a bluff? And let's do that. Let's increase the size. Let's get suit selection. I want ace of spades. Basically, I want only those ace of spades to call. So he's got them. Yeah, I do think he's got them. Maybe just all of the ace of spades, all of these cards, he could bluff with. But I think if that's what he bluffs with, then we're in. He has to really balance it. So you can see with his flush draw, he has 22. He needs 22 aces, which let's see what he had. He had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 ace X combos. So if he had ace of spades, looks like he could easily have that 50-50. So I need 29% equity. If I think he can do it, I can call with my flush. I've got 6 combos, but I'm going to guess probably not. I did call. And again, it kind of comes down to, do I think he can bluff? So let's check his river. So it would have been a river probe bet after he checked. He hasn't seen that. If we look at his overall, won at showdown, 53%. He might not bluff as much. Definitely on his rivers, he's betting 5 It's here 5 times there. He's called 4 out of 9, or so 5 times. So about half and half. Half the time he's called, half the time he's bet himself. He's folded to a bet. So maybe it is going to be. Would I think he'd bet 2/3? It seems like it's value. This really does seem like he's betting this for value. So he raised pre-flop, and then he made a C bet, and then just called, and then checked on the turn. And I think I made the mistake by checking behind. I made the call. He shows ace five. I do think that is in his range. So all of those aces. He had ace five of spades. I had 10-8 of spades. Would he do that with ace X with the lone spades? So I have this feeling he check raised over bet shove with trips versus a C bet when I was in position. So he must have did that to me. How do I think I played this hand? I think I'm okay with the raise on the flop. Maybe it was a little too big, but once I hit my hand, I should have bet again. Against a typical opponent with these stats, I think the players they see that check raise and they're probably going to call once because they're afraid I might be bluffing, and then when I check behind on the turn, they're going to oftentimes lead with a little bit weaker hands. But I do think we should probably go ahead and bet that turn. Now, if he check raises me on the turn, I fold. If he calls on the turn, I'm done with the hand. I think we lose the same amount either way, but I think playing it for the bet on the turn is the way to go. It fits all of our bluff hands, so it would fit having a pocket pair, raising with fives or sixes or sevens or eights or something like that. That fits a spade. So if we get called on the turn and then it goes check check and I show sevens, they're going to say, holy cow, I try to represent the spade. So the next time I do it, when I do have the spade flush, you're going to get called down by king queen, ace queen, maybe queen 10, queen jack, and so forth. So I think I made the mistake on the turn by not betting. Was my raise okay? I don't know. I kind of think with the raise, I'm very heavy on my draws. So maybe I need to look back at that turn and say, should I really be raising with our gut shots as well? Or should I just say, I missed. That wasn't me. I was raising with those flush draws. Should I really be raising with all of those hands? If I assume that these pocket pairs below the top cards are kind of a value type of range, should I really be raising with this range, or should it just be very selective on what spades I raise with, so that way it balances the my premiums, my sets? I don't know. Maybe I'll have an answer as I continue doing these types of studies and practices. All right. Hope you like this. If you did, look tomorrow for another hand.